Hello everyone, my name's Stuart. I've been coming here for 3 years, and the thing I love about this conference is it's a real wonderful creative community of people that welcomes tech and games to its heart as one of its own, rather than seeing it as separate and scary. And the theme this year that I've noticed has been that mobile technology in particular is exciting and also terrifying for everyone, for TV companies, for books companies, but also for some of the digital companies working with kids. Mindcandy being one of our biggest success stories in that area. So Michael Acton Smith is going to come up. He's going to talk about Mindcandy's big new idea, their brand new app that launched this week. He's going to explain how it works, what it is, and then we're going to sit down for some questions from me, hopefully from you. And we promised to get you all to your trains on time if you're running, so we're going to finish on time, have a bit of questions, and then all wander off to the bar and have a good chat. So I'd like to invite to the stage Michael Acton Smith to introduce you Mindcandy's new big idea.
Hello everybody. Yeah, glad you're still here. I thought there'd be just a handful of people at the end of this, but wonderful to see you all. And we've got something new and a little bit unusual to show you, and we've been working on it for quite a while, and we thought what better place to unveil it than the wonderful community at CMC. Greg has been a great supporter of ours for many years. Moshi was unveiled here many moons ago when I was much younger. And so yeah, we just want to show this and talk it through. It's definitely still a work in progress. We'd love any feedback you all have on it. And without further ado, I'll get going. So I am Michael Acton Smith. I think some of you know me and you know the Moshi story, so I won't go through that. But I just thought it'd be good to give a little bit of context and a bit of background to explain how we came to this new product, just to set the scene. So I developed Moshi many years ago with some wonderful Mindcandies who are here at the back. Give us a wave. Nice. They're out very late last night, so that was quite a muted cheer. And yeah, Moshi grew from a little sketch in a coffee shop and just became this phenomenon that we couldn't quite believe. This world of adoptable pet monsters where kids could solve puzzles and share artwork and play games and communicate safely with each other and read stories and go exploring in this weird and wonderful world. And it was an amazing adventure, and we managed to capture lightning in a bottle, and kids absolutely loved it. And it just grew like crazy after quite a slow start, tens of millions of registered users. And then we expanded it offline. The beating heart was the digital component and toys and books and all sorts of other fun stuff, so kids could enjoy it in many different ways. And we've tried not to over-commercialize it, but some of our some of our fans were so passionate about it. It's just been incredible. So there's been, as I say, books, magazines, a music album, even a movie with Universal last year, which was amazing. But this was all wonderful and fabulous and magical in the web era. And then a few years ago, something very dramatic happened, as we all know, the shift to mobile. And we thought it would be incredibly easy just to move our heart from web to mobile. And it wasn't. It was extraordinarily difficult, and it is still difficult. And I know we're not the only ones in this room grappling with this. There are so many new challenges in the mobile era. Not least how the commercial side of things work, the regulatory frameworks, the competition. There are so many different apps out there. And I learned a lot about this from my niece, who she likes to help me with my emails and swipes the screen and will swipe anything. And she is part of this new swipe generation who touch TVs and microwaves and faces and expect an immediate response. And it's incredibly exciting that there's this whole new generation looking for something very different from their entertainment. But it's, as I say, there's still a lot of very big challenges, and we certainly haven't cracked it yet. Despite trying very hard, even with a well-established brand, we put many different apps out there in the App Store, and being very honest, nothing has quite cracked in the same way that Moshi did in the web era. And we hope we will crack it. Many of these apps have lots of downloads, but as I say, the commercial side is really tricky. It's a very tough nut to crack. But I think we're all agreed it's a nut worth cracking. It's such a huge opportunity. Again, so many different apps out there, so competitive. But we all know how much kids love these magical devices, how intuitive they are. no matter what language they speak or where they're from. And we're living in a world now pretty much where all kids in the next few years will have their own devices. The prices are coming down, not just to play games, but to read stories, to listen to music, to watch videos, and to connect and communicate with other kids around the world. So complex, but exciting. And we like big, meaty, audacious challenges. And so it's a problem we've been wrestling with for ages. And we thought maybe a game is not the best way to crack this. We looked back at the 6 years of Moshi and thought, what were some of the things that really went to the heart of that kids loved? And we kept coming back to the idea that kids really do love creating and sharing and showing off. Huge, huge part of Moshi. Their imaginations are mind-boggling, as we all know. We get post bags of art from kids all the time. When we did a design and modeling competition, I think we had about 17,000 entries for all sorts of amazing creations that kids put together. And we have a blog, The Daily Growl, some days getting over 10,000 comments every day. So kids love to create and they love to have their voice heard. And it just seems very strange to us why in this new mobile era there isn't really a space where they can do that yet. Why do they not have their own app where their voice and their creativity can be heard? And because they love being social so much and they so want to share, what's happening is they are joining up to grown-up social networks in their droves. I think we all know this, the numbers of kids joining Facebook and Tumblr and Snapchat and Instagram in particular, hugely popular with kids. But these are environments, as we know, that aren't designed for them. And there are sort of all sorts of issues and challenges associated with that. And we think, why not give kids their very own space where kids can be kids, their own walled garden? So that's what we've been grappling with, and we think hopefully getting closer to a solution. And as you say, today we officially launched Pop Jam, which we're very, very excited about. And we think the jelly bean throwing up a rainbow of creativity and colour sums up the essence of the app perfectly. And what we're trying to do, again, this is our vision. We haven't quite honed it yet because it's still early days, but we'd love to build a creative community that inspires, entertains, and empowers all the kids in the world. And when they join Pop Jam, I'll explain that in a minute, but this ties into this idea of creative sandpits. You know, look at some of the most successful kids' products in the world. Give kids tools and step back and see what amazing things they create, whether it's Minecraft or Lego or Tocker or Rainbow Looms. So when kids join Pop Jam, they get to choose their own avatar. They have their own profile page that they can customize. And similar to Instagram, they have followers and can follow different users on the site. And we've given them some simple tools to create a little art package where they can draw and use stickers and customize photos. And then they get to share their creations with the world. Now, I don't know if anyone remembers this chap. Did anyone submit art to the gallery? Did anyone have their art seen? Oh, a few. Okay, good. I never got mine seen, which I think has constantly been a cross to bear. And in the digital world, obviously, all kids' work can be seen by millions of other kids around the world. And I think that's really, really exciting. So the work that they're creating so far with just the few testers we're doing has been amazing and hugely exciting. And obviously, if we're giving kids all these creative tools and unleashing their creativity, we want to make sure that it's safe as well. So I'll come on to that in a second. But there are responses. So unlike Instagram, where you can just put comments and hearts, you can also respond to posts that pop up in your feed. So you can create little mini games, you can hold contests or polls, and again, just all this emergent, wonderful creative behavior is starting to bubble up, and it's really exciting to watch. But as I say, safety is very, very important, and we're very fortunate in that Rebecca Newton, our Chief Safety and Community Officer, works with us and is hugely experienced in this area. We want to make sure we give kids creative freedom, but not too much freedom. So we work with a company called Two Hats who ensure that we use software and moderation tools behind the scene, but also a big team of very experienced human moderators as well, and to make sure we get the balance right. So that's something I could spend an entire talk on, but I'm going to move on, and we'd love to chat to anyone that wants to discuss all this further, because this is one of the most important elements to get right of the whole project. So kids can connect and follow their friends and see what they're creating, but we also wanted them to follow professional content as well, and some channels that we've been creating, everything from art to cats, which is incredibly popular, and just a whole host of different types of content out there. It's all imagery at the moment. In the future, we'd love to have little mini games that would pop up in your feed, or little videos. Again, we're going to take it a step at a time, but huge amount of content, from entertaining stuff to educational stuff. And you imagine all the things that kids are so passionate about. Minecraft, for instance, they could connect with other Minecraft fans around the world, share stories and strategies, show off their wonderful creations. Quotes channel, an inspirational quote before kids go to school every morning, which is proving really, really popular. Word of the day, I love this channel. And then we get kids to use the word in a sentence or write a story. So again, we're only just scratching the surface of what could happen on this platform. And then we've been chatting to a few very early partners to see what others think, and just had an amazing reaction. So our friends at Carte Blanche with Blue Nose Friends, Natalia Vodianova, the supermodel, has a charity, and she loves inspiring children and teaching them about giving and philanthropy. Chinesey, which I just think is awesome, a very creative, colorful way to teach Chinese. And we send one character every day to the kids. So again, just scratching the surface of what we can do. We're chatting to Jamie Oliver and his team. He loves connecting with kids and teaching children about nutrition, so he could put up recipes or get kids to take photos of the meals they've cooked, and so on and so forth. And what we'd love is to connect with everyone at CMC. You know, we're all working on different projects, from games to stories to whatever else. And if anyone wants to connect with a very engaged, passionate audience, we'd love to work with you. So we see it everything from music to authors to come on board and reveal snippets of their new stories, or artwork that didn't appear in their books. And all of us use grown-up social media to connect and tell our stories and push our characters out there. But why not go directly to the audience themselves and see what the kids think? And yeah, we're going to have a Discover tab within the app, and probably going to have about 100 channels. So if anyone would like to connect with us and come on board, we'd love to chat to you about it. The best way to discover it and learn more about the app, rather than me kind of rattling through a presentation, is to download it. And it's just gone live on Android about 2.5 hours ago, and in the App Store late last night. And if you would like to have more prominence in the app or ask any questions, Annie is the point person, or hit me up on Twitter. I'm Acton, or grab me after this if you haven't got a train to go to. So as I say, still super, super early days, but we're very excited. We really think there is something special here. This is the Pop Jam team that have been working incredibly hard to make this work. And it is been, I'll be honest, a head-spinning, very complicated product. It's very easy for people to misunderstand something like this, but we believe our industry badly needs a safe and fun creative community, one that not only content creators can win on and make their products and stories and characters more successful, but a platform that parents are very happy with as well, and most importantly, that kids absolutely love and can unleash their creativity. So thank you very much. That's been Pop Jam. Cheers.
Thank you very much. And we have these microphones here. It's like they're kind of mouth organ height. So I mean, I read your interview in the Wall Street Journal this week, and you were quite open about the fact that business model-wise, this is experimental. You're not sure yet what you do, but brands could be it, subscription could be it. How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, that's a really tricky one. For years with Moshi, we decided not to do any advertising and external brands in there. We loved the subscription model. There's something really special about that. Parents know what's involved. Kids are very happy with it. And so I think ideally, we'd like to go down that route. But who knows where things will go in the future. When we launched Moshi, we didn't actually know what business model was going to work. So for now, the core focus is there's no commercial aspect to it. It's completely free. And if we can build an audience of millions or tens of millions of kids, then we'll kind of figure out how the commercial side will work after that.
I mean, I signed up for it yesterday when I was playing with it, and you felt, what age are you? And it starts, I think, at 12, and I was like, 36. And I felt a bit wrong, and I was thinking, but presumably you might have parents signing up to share with their kids, but you might have people who are maybe undesirable. How are you planning to, if you suddenly realise 20% of people are old, like me, how
You're
you
not
think about
old,
that? Because I can imagine parents would want to be sharing on this too, but then that's...
Yeah, no, and again, this is something we've got a lot of learnings from Moshi from. So I think a lot of people were like, oh, Moshi should just be for kids, and we disagree. We think it's a wonderful product that the whole family can enjoy, from grandparents, across oceans, to parents and other family members. And so we want Pop Jam to be similar. I love it myself, and I'm not under 13, but I think it's an explosion, maybe not, maybe mentally, but it's an explosion of pop culture, and it's fun and it's silly, and just like in the real world, adults and kids, interact in public spaces, and we don't see why that should be any different digitally. The key, of course, though, is behind the scenes to make sure all the moderation is incredibly, locked down, and we're watching all the interactions and behaviours and messages and everything going on. So that's something, again, a lot of experience from Moshi that we will watch carefully.
Which sounds quite frightening. I mean, obviously you have experience in it. You have someone who's very good in charge of it. But if 100,000 kids sign up tomorrow to the Android app, how does that work? Does the pre-moderation get slower? Do you have to suddenly bring scale? Or?
Yeah, so again, we're just going to learn as we go. So currently what happens is if you're a new user and you've just arrived, all your content that you push to the app will go through human eyes, human moderators. And once, though, we get to know users a little better and how their behavior is within the app, then they may be treated differently. We trust them until that trust goes away. So there's a lot of complexity behind the scenes to manage all that. But as you say, that's the key thing we've got to get right. And I think the team, Rebecca and the team, have done an amazing job and continue to do on Moshi. And we're going to apply a lot of those skills to Pop Jam.
And did I read? I'm always wary of trusting journalists. You can't. Yes. But was no selfies? Is that correct? Or you're you're monitoring that idea of people posting their own faces?
Selfies, yeah, this is an interesting one. So again, we're treading kind of new ground here and sort of figuring out as we go. We are sort of erring probably on the more cautious side, particularly in the early days. So we think probably best not to encourage kids to take selfies unless they're putting stickers over their face or whatever. But we'll see. Pretty much everyone understands the concept of selfie now, and so that's something that we'll probably figure out more as we go along. And there's a lot of different things like that within the app that we'll figure and balance as we go.
Because I guess there's no balance if kids are using Instagram where there's no restrictions.
Yes.
And I'm guessing for parents, the idea of a restricted Instagram is good and great. But for kids, the danger is you go too far and they think, oh, but it's boring.
Exactly. That's why this is a very kind of delicate balancing act we've got to get right. It's why it's such a complicated product. But as I say, I think we can do it, and it's something I hope the whole industry will support and help, because if no one does it, and we know a lot of other people are trying to crack this same problem as well, if no one does it, then kids don't have their own space, and they will continue going on to over 13 sites, which are, as I say, not designed for them.
I was going to ask about business model stuff, because I've seen you talk before about the frustration of seeing Candy Crush Saga and Clash of Clans, which are being played by kids, make loads of money with loads of in-app purchases, and then thinking about a children's thing can't do that. But and that's been talked about at this conference as well, the how do you make money from kids stuff. So how are you thinking about that? Because you've been experimenting with different models in that area.
So I wish I knew. We're still, being brutally honest, we're still trying to figure that out ourselves. So we've had apps that are free, and the theory has been to monetize them through licensing. We've had apps with in-app purchase and try to manage that so it's done in a kind of sort of balanced, responsible way. We've had apps that are upfront paid for. And, they all make money, but it's very hard to generate the kind of income that justifies the huge teams and the multi-year projects that we want to do to make sure apps are extraordinary and amazing entertainment. So this whole balance is tough, and I can't think of too many companies that have cracked this yet. Tokaboka is often given as a great example, and their apps are wonderful and magical and amazing, but they are making a fraction of the money that some of the major Kings and the Supercells and others are, and it's still. As I say, no one has quite cracked this yet. It's a really, really tricky problem.
And I was going to ask about the all ages thing, because I remember I wrote about Moshling Rescue recently, which is the kind of the Candy Crush style game. So
yes.
It's matching puzzle.
Match 3.
Yeah.
And
when you see they're quite high in purchases, and I think I wrote that, and then I think someone said, oh no, but it's not for kids, it's for grown-ups, and that seems like a really fun. And some people here have been asking me about that, saying, how do you walk that fine line between it was a kid's brand, but now it's not, and then we can do this stuff that maybe kids shouldn't do.
Yeah, again, it's a very delicate line, and we are trying to balance this correctly. It's part of this experimental phase. So what we've seen is we know there are a lot of mums that have played Moshi with their kids and love it and love the characters and the Moshlings. And we thought, why don't we try and create a brand aimed at an older audience? So we haven't actively promoted this new game, Moshling Rescue, to kids. It's aimed at a much older audience, and therefore we can be a little bit more liberal with the way the in-app purchase side of things works. And again, this is still early days, trying to figure out exactly how that works. But that's a big project that's taken a long time and a big team to put together. Yeah, we're still, as I say, experimenting.
I mean, is that the other trend now? I mean, the family friend, like Angry Birds, for example, is an all-ages brand.
Yeah.
Temple Run. This idea of things, this is a children's media conference, and yet a lot of things are crossing over those gaps.
It's true. I think it's very hard just to create entertainment for kids, if that makes sense. I think you have to bring the parents along as well. And I think some of the most successful companies in the world in the entertainment sphere create entertainment for kids of all ages. Look at Nintendo. The whole family can enjoy those games. Or Pixar and their extraordinary films that everyone from preschool kids through to grandparents love. And that's what we'd really like to do as well. And we think that may be one of the smartest ways. Not only is it more enjoyable and it gives you more kind of scope as you create entertainment, but also we think from the commercial model, it might be the way to crack it as well.
Okay. I mean, my last question, and we'll open it up, is Moshi Monsters itself, the original virtual world. I mean, what's happening with that? Because obviously Moshi Monsters, the brand, is spreading out in Auckland. It's doing really well. Are children draining away from the virtual world online to go to other things, or how is that property doing?
Yeah, so the web, as I say, was the beating heart of the property for many years, and we and many other kids' virtual worlds have seen kids move away from the web in pretty fast numbers over the last couple of years, and to tablets and mobile. So we still love the web experience in Moshi, and we still support it and have a team on it, but as I say, we feel a new centre of gravity will be mobile products. But of course, we continue to support Moshi in many different ways, from live events to cartoons and short videos on YouTube, through to toys and the amazing licensing program that Darren and the team have put together. So yeah, Moshi is still our kind of the heart of the company, the first thing that Mind Candy launched. But we're excited about experimenting and trying a lot of new things as well.
Okay. So look, do we have any? We have time for like 2 or 3 questions in the audience. So I guess if we go one here, one there, and one at the back there. So if you go first down the front here.
Is it on? Hi. Financially, when your app is free, quite often, especially with kids' games and games in particular, you have in-app purchases, which are very frustrating because you'll get halfway through the game and they'll say, right, here, give us money.
Yep.
Is there a plan in the future for you guys to bring in, I don't know, in-app purchases? So you'll say, put this on your photo if you pay 69p. Are you going to be bringing that in?
Yeah, as I say, we haven't quite figured out the commercial side of it yet. One possibility could be to charge small amounts for sticker packs or extra ways of customizing photos. And again, we could do that, but it may not sit quite so comfortably with parents and possibly even ourselves, which is why we sort of feel the gut instinct is maybe subscription is the way to go. So parents pay a few pounds a month, they know exactly how much they're going to pay, and we have predictable recurring revenues, and kids get access to extra premium content. So that's the way that feels like it might work best.
Okay. There's a question sort of behind you over here, I think.
Hi, Michael. It's Josh from Night Zookeeper here. I'm thrilled that you're doing some fantastic creative stuff now, and I'll be knocking on your door to see if we can get some Night Zoo animals into Pop Jam. But I wondered if you could explain why you've created a Pop Jam brand anew rather than using the Moshi property for the basis of this app as well.
Yeah, good question. So we thought about it, and we definitely considered it. I think you have to be careful of stretching a brand too far. And there are a lot of kids that love Moshi, but there are some that have outgrown it. And when you're creating a platform that you want a lot of third parties to work with as well, I think it's more important to have something that's new and a little bit more vanilla. Moshi would have been great. I think we'd have grown a lot faster in the early days, but it would have probably unbalanced things in the longer term.
And makes it easier to work with other brands.
Exactly.
Such as Night Zookeeper,
Exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And there was one question at the back.
Hi, I'm Russell Miller from Wonderreel, and I think it looks amazing. I think it's a totally brilliant idea, and we've been waiting for it for a really long time. My question is about data collection, because you're going to be collecting a lot, and you're going to know a lot about a lot of kids. Do you have policies in place? Do you have any thoughts about monetizing that data? What's the prospect?
Well, we have an amazing general counsel, Jen Swallow. This way, Jen. So she could answer that question very deeply. Obviously, we're going to be incredibly responsible, just as we were with Moshi. No plans to monetize that. There are very strict regulations around that. Currently, when children sign up, they have a unique username. We ask for age and nothing more than that at this stage. So yeah, we are obviously going to remain within the law, and that may change over time as well, and we will change. But for now, no plans to collect huge amounts of data, definitely not.
Okay, and we're done, and I'm so sorry because it's a very brisk session, and I think there's so much more to talk about. I think you'll get lots of questions after this. But to finish the whole conference, I'd like to invite Sunot, who's going to come and close things off.
Thank you very much, Stuart. And first of all, can I just ask you to thank Michael and Stuart for a very inspiring closing keynote.
Thank you.
And the other thing I wanted to say, the other thank you actually, was to thank all of you. I've been coming for 11 years. I'm one of the old hands, and I think I've enjoyed this conference more than any of the others. And I'm trying to put my finger on why. I think there's a tremendously optimistic, energetic, and inspired feeling this week. I get a tremendous sense of energy, and that's all down to you, because you bring so much to the conference. And it's your energy, your inspiration, your contributions that make this conference, CMC, the best conference. A lot of people have said to me, this is the conference I look forward to. This is the one I enjoy more than any others. And it's largely down to you. So thank you very much indeed for another great CMC.